this class is the symbology of the rose and the history of the flower and why it's aptly the order for a royal peerage. Those of you that enjoy the class, one of you will get this book.
Ooh.
If you're into roses or are a rose. Penrose is back here with me because her name is Rose. Oh. And she took my class yesterday. The story of the rose begins long before they became a fixture in human culture. Fossil records show that wild roses first appeared over 35 million years ago. Ancient blooms flourished across the northern hemisphere, thriving in temperate regions, and they eventually became the species we know today. And I'm going to get my extra book and pass it around because page 37 right here is that fossil. So let me get my book and you all can follow along with the copy that one of you is taking home. And I got the sticker off. So who wants to keep up with the book and Penrose, I'll let you do that. So page 37, all right? Page 37, you'll see the oldest fossil. Roses played a significant role in ancient Egypt, symbolizing secrecy and sacredness. The famous phrase sub rosa, which means under the rose, originated from this period. Egyptians believed that roses represented divine love, and they used them in rituals to honor their gods and goddesses. If you look at page 62, and where was Sappho? Oh yeah, these are the Greeks. Sappho, here she is. So the art is pre-Raphaelite, but it's got a Greek theme, you know? And rose wreaths. Did you show them this one? Yeah, this is another from the Renaissance period. Okay. Purity, passion. These are the Renaissance values. And we talked about the pre-Raphaelite. Gabriel Rossetti is probably one of the more famous. There's Walter, let's see, Waterhouse and Dixie. We just got our Aphrodite on. We went out to a vineyard here called Raffaldini and took pictures of their majesties and some of the other roses. Duchess Shawned was there, as well as Countess Jane, and we were trying to be goddesses of love and beauty in that moment. And let's look at page 107 now. And we've got Botticelli. Botticelli, Botticelli. This is Middle Ages, or the late Middle Ages into the early Renaissance. And by this point, it's a symbol of interconnectedness, transcending boundaries between East and West. Now, I told you at the outset, they started in China, then they made it to Persia, and from there they went to France and Africa. There's one rose that blooms twice, and it's a specific variety of the autumn damask rose, and that is the rose that, of course, I want to be the most like. I want to bloom twice, fall and spring, because, hey, don't we become queens or princesses in fall or spring? It's a sacred symbol, and the legacy continued to grow through the Middle Ages. I'm going to pass out now, and if any of you would like a picture, this is another Middle Age image, and you can pass it and front and back that way. Thank you all for coming. This is my first time teaching this. We need more classes. We need a little bit more variety. Some of you all were in my class yesterday, and I really appreciate you coming back to a different class today. Light of the World. That's her on the back. Light of the World. That's actually her Indian name. She lived in the place in India where they processed the most roses of all time. And I'll pass this one around. You can see she's holding a very delicate rose in her hand. We have a laurel in Atlantia for making rose water.
Lord Manus McDye.
Say it again?
Manus McDye.
And he is Master Manus McDye. And I've had his rose water, oh my gosh, and he has the old roses. They're not knockout roses. And it's usually derived from the damask rose, a staple in culinary traditions and religious observances. They use roses in the Middle East to wash their hands before prayers. And I don't know if you've ever had it. They have rose-flavored desserts. They're wonderful. And even today, there's an annual International Rose Festival in Isparta, Turkey. Europe has its long, their own way, with the English Rose Garden being a national pride for England. The Tournament of Roses in Pasadena every year here, and that is more out of the European traditions. Latin American cultures use roses during Dia de los Muertos, and they also adorn them with just marigolds and roses. White roses in this represent peace, remembrance, so thank you. Asian traditions hold roses in high regard because where did all the roses come from? China. Silk Road in China, they use them in the Lunar New Year celebration. And then in Africa, they use them in bridal customs, vibrant shades. Love and fertility are the symbol.
This is from Rome. This is Toynbee quoting a Roman, the poet Ausonius. Sprinkle my ashes with pure wine and fragrant oil of spikenard. Bring balsam to a stranger with crimson roses. Tearless my urn enjoys unending spring. I have not died, but changed my state.
That was beautiful, thank you.
I'm interested in the Roman.
And lovely pastries from Italy use rose water in the mixture of the dough.
Is there some Turkish delight made with rose water?
Huh?
Whatever that chewy stuff, the Turkish delight.
Yeah.
Yes, Turkish delight. That's the one that.
Rose water and a lot of the Italian pastry and it just gives wonderful.
But a little goes a long way.
Yes. One of my
It does. In modern celebrations, the Order of the Rose comes back around. Every crown tournament, we as Ladies of the Rose hand a rose to the consort of all the fighters. We have Viscountess Sylvia de Chardonnay and Viscount Fergus. They started the Field of Roses after crown tournament or after other tournaments. The fighters give a rose to the other person's consort.
The person who is not victorious presents a
Rose
Yeah.
to the victor.
or whoever the victor chooses.
Think about pictures in popular culture. What films come to mind? You all remember the song "The Rose," which every rose has its thorn.
Yeah.
Disney's Beauty and the Beast. What's right there in the center?
The rose.
Exactly, the enchanted rose. The profound legacy of roses is a testament to their unmatched ability to captivate the human spirit. Spanning the millennia, they've enchanted civilizations with their beauty, symbolism, and versatility, their timeless allure and cultural significance, and make them irreplaceable, embodying emotions that resonate universally. So, this being in the Order of the Rose, it's not a polling order,
It's not.
but
I think that the Order of the Rose, by virtue of being made up of individuals who've had the opportunity to serve as crown, the order itself has the ability to instill a lot of influence and is able to promote ideologies that
That's
we
right.
want to see within the organization. And I
Correct.
think that most of us, that's what we want to do, right? We want to find the things that we want to encourage and utilize our
Yes.
our station.
Yes,
What
we
often
do.
happens with this order is usually we are all have enough of a shared experience. But the thing is, we are one order that is so used to functioning autonomously that we often continue to do so, trying to organize versus do anything. If it's not you doing it, it's going to be hard to get it done. 'cause, you know,
Correct.
Yeah.
I think it is within the SCA, the Order of the Roses created in AS2. It is
And a
old. It is
societized
very old
too.
order, and it is something that exists in every kingdom in the known world and has a profound, meaningful entry for almost everyone who's admitted to the order. It is a deep sense of connections with people that you may have never met before.
Yes.
But
Stories of being a rose is that you get to give the most. Even if you don't, if it's like the 8th AOA you've given that day, it's still the same joy on the face.
That's
of
right.
Somebody else, and you get to be front and center for it. And you, though they are not grateful to you as a person, I hope not, but you know,
Yeah.
but they are grateful to what you symbolize, and you get to see that joy and stand in that place, in that light for a moment as you give to others. So
That's,
that's
and public speaking.
or in my case, I have just completed my public speaking course in college, so I got lucky there that I'd already, you know.
yeah, and I think in a lot of ways, being queen is transitory. It is a 6-month experience, but being a rose is forever. And I think I at least learned a lot about myself after my reign and what it meant to be a rose going forward. Because I think it is a complementary but different job.
It is. And we do get used to working autonomously. So those of you 3 that were in my class yesterday and learned about those inspiring women, Al-Kahina was my inspiration, right? One of them. And Radagund.
Arib.
And Darib. Now, yeah. Al-Kahina are women that were leaders. And so I do remember when I gave that speech at Crown Tournament, I said, oh, to be a rose means to be a leader.
Well, yeah.
Because if you are inspiring, and that's why when we talked about Marie de Clare, she was an influencer. You have to be able to influence and inspire. And that 6 months is over, and it was well said, being the rose is forever. The political ideals that are of any specific reign or any specific kingdom, that is what that rose has to emulate. So I brought you some cultural and traditional imagery here. You all know that I traveled the Silk Road. This is what we do in Atlantia. I did not wear my glove, but I have an inspiration glove from Duchess Adelheit's reign. This was gifted to me by Baroness Delia. We're going to end up with politics with a quiz. Duchess Adelheit just taught a class about the War of the Roses. Which one is this? Which one's Lancastrian? Which one's York? Which one's Tudor? That's red is Lancastrian, York, Richard III, and then
Tudor.
Elizabeth I, daughter of the Lancastrian line, likes the white rose, but they eventually combined it, and that's the Tudor rose. You all can have your own copy of this if you want it. I love paper, so I printed it for you. That's the politics of the War of the Roses. If you're mystics, you understand Rosicrucian, ancient mystical order of Rosy Cross. These are the Christian mystics. They use the rose. So spiritual cross, if you are a Christian, and you wonder why the cross has the lower part symbolically, when the heart unfolds, if you understand the chakra system, which is another tradition. But the chakra, when your heart, this is your higher nature, the spirit, and below the belt, the flesh, and the unfoldment and opening of the spiritual. We've got cultural. How many different cultures have we talked about? China, Persia, Europe, and Egypt. They've been woven into the fabric of cultural traditions.
On their person, on their heraldry, the only thing that's reserved to the Order of the Rose is what's called a chapel of roses. It's a wreath of roses. That's reserved for the Order of the Rose. And one of the things that we're going to be doing today at 3 o'clock is Countess Jane and I are going to be making the wreaths of roses to give out for tomorrow at the Day of the Rose. So everyone's welcome to come. We're going to utilize that time as well for anyone who's interested in participating in Crown Tourney. I know Atlantia has our Crown Tourney coming up next month. If anyone's interested in participating and you're being fought for in the tournament as an inspiration, we're going to be there answering questions about what to expect, how it looks like, not just an event, but what it looks like.